I don't understand why the Obama administration, when it has a chance to get things started again on a clean slate, would start now by punishing people on Wall Street who were not responsible for the losses.
Well, Mr. Wallison, in closing, you've certainly heard about how they're putting combat brigades inside the U.S. I mean, that's all over the news. You haven't heard about that?
No.
Have you heard about...
that doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just that I'm not reading it in the newspapers that I read, and I'm not reading about it in the newspapers, or I'm not hearing about it on the radio or seeing it on television. But,
did you see Market Watch last week when they called for a North American Union to get us out of this crisis?
No. That
Wall Street Journal online?
No, didn't see that.
Well, I mean, there's millions of things. I'm not saying, oh, how dare you not know about it. I mean, some of this stuff's obscure. My whole point is that the big government folks seem to like crises because then they get to play savior and expand their power. I mean, is there some of that going on with Obama?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is true that for people who are in the government, this is a great opportunity. You heard Rahm Emanuel say it'd be a terrible thing to waste a good crisis. And what they mean by that is they can, especially the Democrats, can take over a much broader part of the economy through regulation and otherwise when there's a crisis. I and many others in Washington are trying very hard to make sure that doesn't happen. But it's going to be a very tough fight because there are people who for a long time have wanted to impose much more regulation and many more controls. And this crisis gives them an opportunity to do it because the American people sometimes believe that that's what has to be done in a case like this. But we will get out of this situation in a few years. But if we impose new regulation, that will be with us for 50 years. And that will slow down the growth of our economy and make us a much different society. So I'm quite worried about that.
All right, Peter Wallison, thank you so much for joining us. Folks can find out more about you at www.aei.org. Do you have a personal website, or can folks go check out your page?
That's it. I don't have a personal website.
All right, thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Sure, thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Another bigwig on the show for you to try to pick their brain. There he tells you they're using the crises to bring in more government. All right, jam-packed information straight ahead on the one, the only, GCN.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
More than 700 chemicals have been found in our drinking water. And did you know that you have greater exposure to these chemicals while taking hot showers than when drinking the water? That's because many chemicals are inhaled when they evaporate, and others are absorbed into the skin. The KDF Dual Media Shower Filter works with both hot and cold water, and it's designed to reduce chlorine, lead, mercury, and iron, and it inhibits the growth of bacteria, mold, algae, and fungus. The KDF Dual Media Shower Filter typically lasts 10,000 gallons or 1 year, whichever comes first. Hospitals, restaurants, and water treatment facilities use this media to reduce chlorine, iron, heavy metals, and bacteria. What about you? Order your KDF shower filter normally $49 for our special price of only $39.99 with free shipping. Call the Berkey Guy and order now by calling 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or simply click on the banner at gcnlive.com to order online now.
A day unlike any other in the long course of American history, a terrorist act of war against this country.
The enemy struck America on September 11th. But who is the enemy?
Bin Laden. This is his M.O.
We have to look to the Middle East. We have to look to Osama bin Laden.
Fabled Enemies is the first 9/11 film to take a close look at the terrorist ties to intelligence networks inside the United States.
Some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S.
I'm aware that some Israeli citizens have been detained.
Bin Laden's connections to the CIA, the hijackers' ties to the FBI, the Saudi Arabian connection, the Israeli intelligence network, warnings and war games, the shadow government, and much, much more. Fabled Enemies. Get the DVD at Infowars.com or see it in super high quality, along with hundreds of other titles at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Of the 3 million plus edible food plants that grow on Earth, no other single plant can compare with the nutritional value of the powder, seeds, and oil of the hemp plant. At hempusa.org, we ship worldwide these nutritional products with free shipping to the U.S. and Canada. At hempusa.org, we want to educate our listeners that edible hemp is not marijuana and is certified THC-free. Our powder is 50% protein and does not contain gluten. Gluten impairs the cells from absorbing nutrients. This nutrient-dense food can be stored up to 5 years when vacuum-packed and is priced affordably to be used as a storable food. HempUSA.org is a bulk shipper starting with 5 pounds and up. To allow this food to work for you, call 908-691-2608 or go to HempUSA.org and order today. The body will react and heal itself given the proper nutrition. This superfood will be your greatest asset. So try it today, store it today, and change your life. Call 908-691-2608 or order from hempusa.org.
Man thinks 'cause he rules at us, he can do with it as he please. And if things don't...
All right, I'm going to take calls and cover news for the balance of the transmission. First, I want to thank our sponsors that make this radio show possible. One of them, Survivalist Seeds, survivalistseeds.com. Knowing that something's coming is not the solution. Preparing for what's coming is the answer. Get 7 years of healthy food for pennies a pound. 100% heirloom seeds, non-GMO, non-hybrid. Grow your own food and eliminate your dependence on the establishment, on society. Get 15,000 heirloom vegetable seeds for a great price for a 7-year family supply. Get seeds 5 times cheaper than the GM trash sold at Walmart. Same-day priority shipping, UPS available. Without a long-term food solution, you will starve if everything collapses or become a slave. I believe everybody should be independent, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a call. You need the insurance of having thousands of pounds of healthy food because the store shelves could end up being empty. And regardless, it's just fun to garden. So 620-637-2978, 620-637-2978. 2978. Survivalistseeds.com is the website. And along the same line of being prepared, mysolarbackup.com. A lot of things can cut off your electrical power. Hurricanes, snow, ice storms. Listeners should move towards getting off the grid. And here's a good way to do just that. A solar power generator is now available from a long-time sponsor, Solutions from Science. It's designed to provide 1,800 watts. 1,800 watts of power on demand in the event of any disaster or outage. Get an emergency power backup kit, which consists of a Power 1800 converter, power plant, and high-efficiency solar panel designed to provide endless electricity. Remember, too, that gas generators need gas, but in a blackout, gas pumps can't pump gas because they run on electricity. The solar generator is like having a silent power plant hidden in your home. It's the perfect emergency backup for troubled times. The government doesn't own the sun yet, folks, so make your move today. Their website is mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Or you can always call them toll-free at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. mysolarbackup.com. All right, now, let's go ahead and rampage through your calls. Sean in Florida, you're on the air. Welcome.
How you doing, Alex?
Doing pretty good. What's on your mind?
I just had a couple unqualified, thought-provoking ideas. The first one is, when we're talking about the worst-case scenario, coins, by their very nature, have a fundamental metal value, although it's not, the face value of the coin. But if we would
it's because of scarcity, it can be above or below the face value of the coin, or depending on when you get into the market.
But as our currency devaluates, it might not be unwise to add more coinage into the currency, even though it is inconvenient and more cumbersome than paper, because that metal will have an inherent value.
That's the whole debate about what type of monetary system we should have. Sure.
But another thing that I've thought recently is, as Ron Paul has always advocated, introducing a competing currency with the Federal Reserve note.
Yes.
There's certainly some interesting court cases where, the Supreme Court upheld the 16th Amendment, didn't create a new tax. And the Congress, like Title 12, Chapter 3, Subchapter 12, Section 411, essentially says Federal Reserve notes can be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department.
But they don't do that.
Exactly. So, a question I had is, we said that the Federal Reserve is a private credit, and we have this whole system of taxation, everything based on the fact that we use this private credit currency voluntarily. So,
but it really isn't voluntarily, because they forced it to be not just the U.S. currency but the world currency, and the establishment has been debasing the value of that as a form of theft. But back when it still had its value, they bought up real assets with it, and then we end up paying taxes to back up the value of that currency. So it really isn't a private voluntary currency. It's a private currency. The profit is private. The cost is put onto the public. I appreciate your call, Sean. Steve in Vegas, you're on the air. Steve in Las Vegas, Nevada, you're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon, Alex.
Welcome, Steve.
I originally got on, I was hoping to speak to Peter. I worked for his dad for 5 years.
Yeah, his father is in prison, Peter Schiff, for educating people on how to